Good evening, Rabbi Sai. B'shuschem, and with the permission of friends old and new, we continue on our journey in Pirkei Avot again, and let's get right into it. Mishnah Zayin in the third parak. Rabbi Chalafta ben Doisa, Ish Kvar Chananya. He was a man from the village of Chananya. Oimer, what did he say? 10 people that are dealing in Torah. Shechina Shruya b'neihem, that the Shechina rests amongst them. Shenemar Elokim nitzav adas kel. That God stands in the Eidah, and from where do we know? Five, that the Shekhinah also rests within them. And I will explain these psukim in a minute. Three the Shekhinah now. So we went from 10 to 5 to 3 that the Shekhinah is within. B'kerav Elokim yishpot, u'minayin afilu shnayim. Two. Also the Shekhinah, God's presence rests amongst us. When we're Oyisek B'Torah. Shenema oz nedabru yirei Hashem yishal reyehu. Vayakshev Hashem vayishma. Minayin. And from where do we know afilu echad? Even one. Shenema b'chol hamokom asher azker shmi avo eilechu v'rachti. Wherever my name is mentioned, I will come along and bless. Rabbi Chalafta was a third generation Tana. He actually saw, according to the Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Kuftas Vav, he saw the Beis HaMikdash, he witnessed it with his own eyes, but he lived in the Galil. Not much is really mentioned in his name. However, and one of my favorite Divrei Torah, a chiddush for another time, is that when Yehoshua, when he crossed the Yarden, he built 12 megalithic structures. And on these 12 megalithic stones were inscribed all of the words of the Torah. Rabbi Chalafta from our Mishnah, Rabbi Chalafta was one of the 3 Tanoim who went to the Yarden in order to see the stones of Yehoshua, the Gemara in Shabbos tells us. So why does the Mishnah tell us these numbers? 10 the Shechina Shuya, 5 the Shechina Shuya, Shloisha the Shechina Shuya, Shnayim and Echad, 2 and 1, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. What is the significance of these particular numbers? I'd like to suggest that these are 5 conditions in order for the divine presence to rest amongst us. And why Tafka does Rabbi Chalafta utilize 5 enumerations? Efshar, perhaps, maybe, my friends, because in order for the Shroya, in order for the Shechina to Shroya, in order for the Shechina, the divine presence, to rest amongst us, you need Chamisha Chumshei Torah. So the 5 correspond, these 5 numbers correspond to actual Torah itself. So on Pesach, we say, Echad miyodeya, Savara miyodeya. So 10, Asara miyodeya. How do I know that 10? That amongst 10 people who are Oyisek B'Torah, that the Shechina Shruya imohem. So, Rabbi Chalafta quotes a pasuk from Tehillim and says, Elokim nitzav adas kel. That God stands in the Eidah. In the Eidah? So what does that mean in Eidah? Amongst the congregation. So how do I know that? We know it from a Gemara in Sanhedrin, because the Gemara in Sanhedrin asked the same question. How do I know that a minyan, a quorum of men, is comprised of 10 people? So the Gemara in Sanhedrin says, quotes a pasuk from Bamidbar, from the Parsha of the Meraglim, Ad Mosai le'eda hara'ah hazeh. Till when are you going to give me these evil people? God complains, he exhorts the Meraglim, the 10, not Yehoshua and Kalev, who were not amongst them, but the other 10 who were Lush and Horonics on Eretz Yisrael. So 10 comprise a quorum, and amongst 10, the Shechina is Shruya imohem. Chamisha miyodeya. How do I know that 5, within 5, the Shechina is Shruya? So Rabbi Chalafta tells us another pasuk. V'agudaso al Eretz Yisrael. He quotes a pasuk from Amos. And the pasuk stands for the fact that, and he found his company on the earth. That God found company for himself on the earth itself, on our globe. So what is an aguda, a company? What grabs an individual? Usually when we refer to an aguda, most of you will be familiar with agudas ezov, the arba minim that we gather. And what do we gather in our hands? Shloisha hadasim and shtei aravos. You gather the agudas ezov with 5. And with what is the agudas ezov grabbed with? 5 fingers. So for I know that an aguda constitutes 5, and within this 5 of the performance of mitzvahs, notice that he doesn't say limud haTorah Rabbi Chalafta in our Mishnah. He says osek b'Torah. So the isuk of Torah is mitzvahs and Torah itself, and in this instance it's the agudas ezov. Shloisha mi yodea. 3, how do I know? So Rabbi Chalafta tells us, he quotes a pasuk again from Tehillim, Bekerev Elokim Yishpot, that in the midst God will judge. Judging is comprised of a minimum of shloisha dayanim, of 3 dayanim, 3 judges. So therefore I know that God rests amongst 3 judges. And how do I know that God rests amongst 3 judges? Or God rests amongst judgment? Because Chazal tell us, Kol dayin shedan din le'amiso na'aseh shutafim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Any judge who judges a judgment according to the way in which it should be done, he becomes a partner with the Ribono Shel Olam. Shnayim mi yodea. How do I know 2? How do I know 2? Oz nedabru yirei Hashem isha re'ehu. This in which man will speak each to his friend. What does it mean, speak each to his friend, el re'ehu? A chavrusa in learning, you're speaking to one other individual. You're chavrusa in learning, you're talking together in learning. And one, echod mi yodea, b'chol mokom asher azkir shemi avo eleich u'v'rachtich. In every place that my name is mentioned, I will come along and I will bless. Comes along Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau, the former chief rabbi of Eretz Yisrael, of Medinat Yisrael, and he gives a very interesting insight into this pasuk. He says, notice the terminology of the pasuk in Shmois that Rabbi Chalafta is quoting as a raya, as a reference and evidence of the fact that God rests even amongst one individual Zosek B'Torah. B'chol mokom asher azkir shemi avo eleich v'rachtich. Eleich is lashon yochid, uv'rachtich is also, and I will bless you, is also lashon yochid. Rabbi say, b'chol mokom she'azkir as shmi. What does it mean in every place that my name is mentioned? Just as a little bit of an aside, it's a very interesting Rashi, a famous Rashi on this pasuk in Shmois, and says as follows: Mikan atalomet shelo nisan rishus lahasker Hashem b'furish ela b'makom. There was no permission granted for a person to invoke the tetragrammaton, the 72-letter name of God, unless he was standing, unless he was found himself, ela b'makom she'ashchina bo Hashem, only in the place that the Shechina comes to. And vizeh, and what is that place? Vizehu Beis HaBechira. This is the Beis HaMikdash. Som Nisan Rishus LeKohanim Lahazkir Shema Befurish. There, Kohanim were given permission to invoke and to utter the name of God. B'nesias Kapayim Levarech as Ha'am, when they were performing their duchening services and they were blessing Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Sai, Harav Baruch Epstein in Baruch She'amar, in Tosefes Brocha, which is another commentary of his on Torah, suggests the following: whoever learns Torah and comes across Hashem's name, He should be medactic, he should be scrupulous in pronouncing it correctly and not use substitutes. Since the Mishnah specifically states that the pasuk presents evidence substantiating that the Shekhinah is present when one learns Torah. Mentioning Hashem's name must be the catalyst for bringing Hashem's presence. Therefore, only when Hashem's name is explicitly mentioned does the Shekhinah descend, and not through the use of a substitute. So too, perhaps, when we sing Zmiras on Shabbos, and we sing praise to Hashem, numerous Zmiras mention Hashem's name. That's a shir for another day as to whether we should or should not say Hashem's name when we invoke Zmiras. And similarly, perhaps, this could be the ultimate reason why we make a bracha prior to the performance of a mitzvah. The Gemara in Brachas, the Avot tells us, how do we know that if 10 people are coming together to daven, that the Shekhinah is with them? Uminayin la'asora shemispalin sheshchina imoim. How do we know that 10 who stand together and daven, that the Shekhinah is with them? But if people sit and learn together, what does the Mishnah say? Asara sheyoshvin v'yoiskin b'Torah, according to some terminologies of this Mishnah, Shechina shruya b'neihem. Note the distinction between these two phrases. In the Gemara in Brachas, it says that we're dealing with prayer, Hashem imohem. And when a person is learning Torah, it says Hashem dwells, Shechina shruya. So according to Rav Shlomo Kluger, he notes that this is a distinction between Tefillah and Torah. Shechina shruya connects a sense of permanency. The Shechina remains. If you're learning Torah and there's 10 people, even after the cessation of Torah. But when a minyan comes together, Rabbi say, the Shekhinah is also present. But here's the distinction. When you daven and tefillah ceases, the Shekhinah departs. Rabbi say, Talmid Torah keneged kulam. Have a good night.